Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Illinois Green Party series. I'm your host, David Rich. We have a very special guest on tonight, Lily Benavides, who is a Green Party candidate for District 11 in New Jersey. Hello, Lily. How are you?
Hi, David. I'm okay. Thank you. You?
Okay, good. Okay, good. I'm glad to have you on the show and talk to you about your campaign and what's going on out there. But when I talk to other Green Party members on the show, I always like to find out how they kind of got to the Green Party because it's usually a different way than people are usually approach any sort of like affiliation with a political party. Mostly people just do it because that's how they were raised. Their parents were Democrats, so they are that kind of thing. So how did you get to the Green Party?
Um, that was back in 2016. I was already, I changed my affiliation as independent before that. I was a Democrat on another life, but very disappointed with that. and, and I was looking for another party, and I met two people that were members of the party, and they invited me, and I started going to meetings, and I liked.
Back in 2016.
I think, yeah,
Okay, so
2016.
that was 8 years ago. Okay, so you liked what you were hearing, and you become a member at that point. Was it
Yeah,
before the election or after or
before.
before? But did you, if you don't mind me asking, obviously your vote is your business, but did you vote Green Party in that election?
Yes,
Okay, that was 2016. Was Jill Stein or Howie Hawkins? I don't remember.
Jill Stein.
It was Jill Stein. Howie Hawkins
Mhm.
was 2020, I think. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
Then we have Jill Stein again, so which is very cool. And I'm
yeah.
hoping to have her on the show at some point. Yes, people, just so you know, viewers, we have a comment section on the right here. We got Kip Sauce or Sip Sauce. That's Ariel. He's waving hello. And
Yeah.
Millennial Splaining with Bess Godin says Lily heart heart heart.
Mhm.
So very cool. Yeah, please feel free to share comments, questions, and your own personal stories of anything. So have you run before for any office before now?
Yes, I did. That was back in 2007, 2006, at the end of the 2006
Oh, so
in,
before you
in,
became a Green
in
Party.
New Hampshire.
Yeah.
I was a state representative in New Hampshire.
You were the state representative.
Yes, but
Uh,
things are very different there.
oh, okay. So, but this is 2007, so that's before you got to the Green Party. So you were Democrat at that point, I'm assuming. Oh,
Yeah,
you became a state rep. That's pretty interesting. Okay, would you mind talking about your experiences?
right. Yeah, yes, of course. Okay, I've been an activist for immigrant rights for a long time.
Mm,
And I moved from New Jersey to New Hampshire, where I lived for 4 years.
mm-hmm,
And I started joining immigrant rights groups.
mm-hmm.
And they like, I guess they like what I what they saw, and they invited me to participate. And there were, some young people on the Democratic Party, and they invited me. Um, it wasn't a good experience. I got elected. They didn't expect that. It was more like, a token, as it usually is with foreigners, just bring us on to say that they they diverse, right? Yeah,
Yeah, it's identity politics. Yeah.
yeah. So, and I won, right? And I don't think they were that happy about it because they knew that my thing was immigration, and the first thing I did was to propose a bill for the police to not do the work of an immigration officer, because they were doing that. They were stopping people on the road and on the streets, and that wasn't happening there before. And so we made a lot of noise, and it was a national thing. Even I don't know if you know who Tancredo is. He used to be a senator from Colorado. He came all the way to New Hampshire to make noise about that, and he said that we should be in jail. I had a co-sponsor who was a senator,
Wow.
and it didn't pass, but it made a lot of noise, and that's when they started talking about immigration, because it was one of those things that nobody say anything about it in there until then. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously the bill didn't pass. But you said it made a lot of noise. Can you kind of talk about that? Like what, like who was up in arms about it?
Uh, very well, New Hampshire is, I don't know how it is now. That was so long ago, but at that time, um, they were harassing immigrants everywhere. And as I said, stopping them on the road and asking for documents. So we did rallies and we collected signatures. We went everywhere. We were on radio, on TV, about this. So everybody found out what was happening there with the immigrants.
Like what? Like what do you mean with the police?
Yeah, yeah, because um, they didn't have any authority to do that.
Right.
So even Democrats didn't like that I was proposing that bill. They just didn't back me up, and not just because of that, but because I was the only Latina there on that time. I was harassed. It was very difficult to be on the state house. It just didn't want me there. Yeah.
Wow, that's terrible. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was
Um,
a bad experience. Yeah.
it was a very bad experience.
Yeah.
Okay. And how long is that term for? How long did you serve?
That was for 2 years, but on the second year, the most of the work is done on the first year. And I got very sick, like very sick. I went into disability, so I
Awesome.
couldn't I couldn't basically do the second year. Yeah, it is only for 2 years and it's volunteer, so people don't get paid. And
What? The state
and
House of Representatives, you don't get paid?
no, not in New Hampshire. And then there are 400 state representatives. It's
But
the
it's a
big.
full-time job, isn't it?
Um,
No?
I
Is it
would
because New
say I
Hampshire's
would
so
say I would
small?
say like the first 3 or 4 months of the year when you recently get elected. That's
Yeah.
when most of the work is done.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay. That's interesting. I just thought it was kind of ongoing all the time. New Hampshire is very small. Maybe that's why. I don't know.
yeah.
Not a big population to have to contend with, but well, I'm sorry it was a bad experience like that. But yeah, see, that's the whole like one of the perks of like the Green Party and other third parties is that you have a opt out from the duopoly because they're just ridiculous. I mean, you have the Democrats, championing the left, and they're not. I mean, we anybody who like allows like cops to do what you're describing is not concerned about individual rights or anything like that, like the Democrats claim to be. So yeah,
They're just the same.
they're pretty much just the same.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's everything else is just chatter, like on the
yeah.
media. It's nonsense. So well, okay. So then, fast forward 2016, you came to the Green Party, voted for Jill Stein, and you've been there here ever since. And like, what's your experience been like in the Green Party for 8 years? And that's a good chunk of time.
Um, I was a co-chair for a couple of years,
Oh, neat. In New Jersey or New Hampshire?
New Jersey,
Okay.
and
How was that? Would you talk about that? I know another co-chair here in Illinois, and she's pretty busy with stuff.
yeah. Well, we are a small group, but yeah, helping with the meetings and events, actions. Yeah,
Yeah, so it's a good small but good group.
it's a good group, and we have more people now, and it's. I mean, we can see the results of the work that we've done.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, yeah.
Very cool. So you were the co-chair. You no longer are, or you still are?
Not right now.
Not right now.
No.
Focusing on the campaign.
Yeah.
Okay. And what do you have a good crew of people that help you with the campaign? Or
Well, mostly we are helping each other as much as we can, but we are looking for volunteers. We need lots of volunteers because
okay, so if you're watching and you haven't yet volunteered for Lily's campaign crew, Lily Benavides, Google her. Just GP candidate for District 11, New Jersey. Her stuff will come up. I've done it several times today. So that's good. Okay, very cool. So okay, well, let's talk about the campaigning. Let's what's some of the more important platform positions for you?
um, I have three or four things that are very important, which is difficult to choose because so many things going on, but
Sure.
we had to choose some, right? So
Yes.
affordable housing.
Affordable housing. Okay.
Yes. We know that the housing is in crisis, and there's not there's not enough housing for poor people. It's just for poor people. You know,
Yeah.
the um, the list of Section 8 and housing that helps poor people. Many lists are closed or are 10 years on a waiting list. Um, and there's homeless everywhere. The prices, even for rent or buy, are ridiculous.
Oh
It's
yeah.
very, very difficult to put that money together to pay rent. I know that because I don't own a house, I rent. So that's hard. And most of us that are running are on the same situation. You know, we are not rich. We are just common people running,
Right.
having the
Which is
same
great.
issues that everybody has, right?
Yes.
So um, there's a lot of empty buildings everywhere. You know, like
Right.
it's just deteriorating, and we don't understand why cannot be of use for people that cannot afford a house. Um, and also the gentrification. You know,
Hmm.
uh, how they like here where I live, they just take a small like a small forest, I would say, right? And they cut all the trees one day to the other one, and they are building more apartments that nobody can pay for it, and that has a lot of consequences.
Sure.
You know, um, people don't know where to go, how to afford to live here, and and then the schools are already in trouble because they have so many kids, and then they cut all the trees and there are bears walking all over, and
True.
yeah, and then they think that the solution is to kill more bears,
Yeah.
right? So
Right.
that's around here where I live. Yeah, but
I think.
I would say that around New Jersey, everywhere. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I would have expected to hear a story about bears in New Jersey.
a
So
lot of bears.
that's really interesting. Just
Yeah,
to show you
yeah,
like how like wildlife is still around in all sorts of places, and yeah, we just keep cutting down their homes, and then we're wondering why they're getting upset with us.
yeah.
Um, you know, Madeline R. Hoffman, thank you for watching. Affordable housing and increasing homelessness are such big issues. It's true, and homelessness. I was just talking to this earlier today about talking about this earlier today with a friend of mine. It's just everywhere, and it's just incredible. I lived in Portland, Oregon for a while. Been back here in Illinois for about 8.5 years. But when I left, the homeless issue was at a certain level, and I went back to visit few years ago, and it's like I mean, it's just encampments like all over the place, and
Yeah.
it's sad to see. I had plenty of good interactions with homeless people when I was there, and some not so great. But I can't even imagine what it's like to not have a home. Like that's just got to be the worst possible feeling in the world. It's just and
Well, I went to I did this workshop on homelessness, um, and I was invited by a friend, and it basically was for people that were homeless once in their life, right?
Mhm.
And at that point, I didn't realize that I was homeless because I was living in my sister's couch for 2 years.
Right.
When I got on disability, I couldn't work, and I was waiting for it, and I didn't have any other place to go. So I was living in her couch for 2 years. So
Yeah.
that's considered being homeless.
Oh, is it? Okay. Yeah. That
Yeah.
makes sense. It's not. It's
You
not
know,
your
you
work.
don't have a private space for you. You don't have nothing. So
That's
yeah,
interesting. So, yeah, I guess we would think of homelessness as like sleeping outside.
yeah,
Having to
yeah.
sleep outside. But I guess the definition's more broad than that. Uh, Yeah, no, I mean, I remember as so that with as a teenager, my parents and I not getting along on occasion, growing up in the '80s, and listening to heavy metal and all that. But yeah, I remember a couple nights where they kind of like, all right, you're out, and I had to like sleep in my car or my friend's car or something like that, and just it was only excuse me, like a day here, a night there, a couple hours here. Nothing very continuous. It definitely wasn't 2 years. But it's just again, like I said, it's just a terrible feeling that you don't have anywhere to go.
Yeah.
It's a really bad, nasty sense of self. So okay, well, very cool. So affordable housing and homelessness. What else?
Immigration.
Immigration. That's a big one. Okay, what do you
Yeah. Um,
got?
well, for me, I think the whole immigration system needs to be restructured or done all over, like new.
hmm hmm
I don't think any of that has been working for years, for decades. But I also think that it was built that way on purpose.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. But it has got worse, and now Biden, that some people keep defending him, he was trying to pass something to totally deny asylum seekers for even petitioning.
Really?
That was recent, but I haven't heard anything else. Yeah, that was mentioned by an immigrants organization couple months ago. I have to check what happened to that. So I used to, I help immigrants and newcomers, and I was working with different immigrant rights organizations. And one of the work that I did was with TPS holders, temporary protected status, and it's terrible. It's awful. They've
Yeah.
been here for 25 years, and
Absolutely.
every 1.5 year they have to pay for a permit for the whole family. Imagine that. I don't know how much it was. A couple years ago it was like $700, but
Well,
immigration costs go up all the time, and imagine that, and they don't have a permanent status, and if they want to go to their country, they have to ask for a um, like a permit, a temporary permit, just to go for certain amount of days, and they can only go like once a year. They cannot just keep going because they are risking of not letting them in again. So
wow,
that's awful.
that is awful.
Yeah.
It's just it's astonishing how like our government treats people.
And then
It's
and then the kids, DACA,
yep.
how Obama did that at the last minute so he would get reelected, and then nothing happened, and they're still hanging in there.
My understanding is that more people were deported under Obama than any
Yeah,
president since.
yeah,
So I mean, even Trump didn't deport nearly as much as he did.
right,
So
yeah,
yeah, there's it's I'm finding out more and more about the Obama era.
yeah. He's called
You know,
he's called the deporter in chief.
deporter in chief. Wow, well,
Yeah,
that's gonna
yeah,
stick.
yeah,
Okay, yeah, and then the drone killings, and he killed like all sorts of innocent children and everything, and like American citizens. Like, I'm finding out like it turns out he was just like every other president, just
right, yeah, yeah,
you know. Everybody was so excited at first. I know I voted for him the first time. I didn't vote for him the second time. But yeah,
oh
before,
yeah, same here.
yeah,
Yeah.
so, but okay. All right, immigration. Yeah, very important. Very. I have a lady who I got into contact with, who's an immigration lawyer here around here, who's supposed to come on the show and really kind of break down everything that's happening, and give us the actual description and truth of what's going on instead of what you hear on like Fox or CNN and
Right.
nonsense like that. She met him. Who met
Oh,
whom?
Obama.
You met Obama?
Well, I was in New Hampshire, and we had the Labor Day breakfast where usually candidates come, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was just there. I don't know what I was doing, and he just came out and he was talking to me, for a few minutes. Yeah. And then my friend sent me a picture just recently. I'm like, yeah, okay. Yeah. But I
Was he
was,
a nice guy at least?
I mean, he was nice, but
Yeah.
I had this feeling, I
Did you?
told my friends, because my friends, oh yeah, he would make a change, blah blah blah, right? I was like, no, he's not. He's too arrogant for that.
Ooh, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely a cocky guy. So he thinks he's all that. But okay, very cool. Ariel's saying, "Yep." So and laughing. Okay, so you met President Obama. That's cool. Okay, so what other positions are you?
Education.
Education, yeah, big one.
Yeah, okay, that's a big one.
Go ahead.
Okay, the structures in the schools, at least around here, the schools are, like falling. I always hear complaints from my granddaughter. Absolutely, she's going to graduate right now soon. But all the time that she was in high school, the bathrooms were broken and nobody fixed them.
Oh my,
And who knows where the money is, right? And I heard that that's all over, everywhere.
so
Um,
yeah.
there's no money for programs for foreigner kids, like, I mean, they say there's no money. So again, where's the money? um that's more like a local situation, right? But it's all over. And um the kids are supposed to have, not the kids, but the parents are supposed to have their all the communication in their language, right? But most of the times that doesn't happen. And they have the money for that because they have a specific amount of money for that. They don't have translators. I'm talking about New Jersey, right?
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, because I go to some schools upstate New York, and they are awesome. They pay translators to come to the school and do the work, with the kids. I don't know why they don't do that here. They have money. These schools around here have money, but they don't do it. And they don't respect diversity. There's a lot of discrimination of racism. Absolutely, the schools in New Jersey are one of the most segregated in the whole United States.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow. Like by race and
yeah,
ethnicity, like
yeah,
okay, African American,
yeah.
Latin American, that kind of. Wow, that's unfortunate to hear. Um, yeah, I don't know a lot about the East Coast and their politics. I know like some of the states are very liberal, some are very conservative. That's where the country started. So you got like 260 years of laws. Like going back to like the most bigoted, prejudiced time in American history. And there's probably just a lot of residual effect of that, at least socially. Maybe I don't know if not legally, systemically. But yeah, that's unfortunate to hear. All right, go
Yeah,
ahead.
and the next one, the military spending.
Oh God, don't
Yeah,
even get me started. Go ahead. Go ahead. You go
my
ahead.
my my
It's
opponent,
ridiculous.
Mikey Sherrill, she's the champion on that.
So okay, yeah, I heard a little bit on one of the other your videos. Could you explain that to me? Like, what's her name again?
Mikey Sherrill.
Mikey Sherrill.
Yeah.
That's a female.
Yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
Mikey Sherrill, and
Absolutely, her name is Rebecca, but she's called Mikey. I don't know why.
no, I've had female friends called Mikey or Michael.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's like a derivative of like a French thing.
Yeah.
So okay. So what's up with her? What's her deal?
Um, she has been voting for more money for military spending since day one. She's a Navy veteran, and all her family is military background, and that's what she does. And what else can I say about that? Right now, she has voted for every single time for money for Israel and Ukraine.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's so gross. That's like just so icky. Like are you not watching the news? With the pictures and
Yeah,
videos,
we did. We did.
children getting destroyed and killed and blown up, and
Nah,
women.
she
Oh,
doesn't care
oh
about
my
that.
God.
Half of this is kind of half of the people that elected her are against her right now. Maybe more than half.
Is this her first term?
No, this is the third term.
Ew, gross.
Yeah.
Well, maybe she won't. That more than half of her constituents are against her goes in your favor for sure. Are you
Yeah.
able to get your campaign message, your profile, yourself out to her audience?
Um,
Are they
I
hearing
I
that you're a candidate, a running candidate?
I think so.
Okay.
um, we are sharing and sending messages on the stuff that she put on, and I'm guessing they checked that, right? And not just that, but some weeks ago there was a fundraising event, a dinner with Democrats, and she was the speaking person, right? And we went to the dinner and we interrupted her.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah,
What'd you
yeah,
do? That's awesome.
they
All right,
were.
yes, because Sip Sauce here is saying she's called Mikey out before, also, meaning
Yeah,
you've called her out and that you've met her.
I met her some years ago when we were
And that,
doing immigration work with an organization,
uh-huh.
and she promised all these things that she never really cared. We brought the kids and families. She seemed that she was moved by that, but no. The next time she went and voted for more money for the border. And last year, when was that? 2 years ago, when she was campaigning last time, that was her slogan.
What?
To protect the country was a matter of national security, so they had to close the borders and militarize the borders or something
Oh,
like
for
that. Yeah,
God's sake. Is
yeah.
she Republican?
No,
Oh, okay. See, there you go. There's no difference because that
no.
like screams like the checklist of Republican stances.
Yeah, there's no difference. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
that's crazy. Okay, so Sip Sauce is saying protest too, and that you'll send me the video. Very cool. All right. Um. All right. So, okay. Well, so you interrupted the dinner, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
and that was effective.
um, yeah. I was with another guy, and there were two other women in another table, and on another table, and he stood up to speak first, but they came running to stop him, and then I had my chance because everybody got quiet for a minute. I started telling her, that all these people that have died was her fault because she kept sending money, and she was paying attention to what I said.
Ooh, good.
And then
Good for you.
some guy was very upset. I guess one of the organizers, he came and told me to get out. Yeah.
Well, okay, yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, with things like interrupting lectures, series, conferences, dinners, what have you, there's lots of videos of that going on around right now. Because mostly because of Israel or Gaza, you hear people like interrupting all sorts of things and
Yeah,
really
yeah,
upsetting
yeah.
people. Yeah, you have a very small window to scream your message out because you're going to get hauled out of there real quick.
Yeah.
So yeah, no. So like, yeah, you gotta like stand up and start screaming what you want to say, and then because you got about 40 seconds until you're being hauled out of there by very big guys who don't care if they hurt
Yeah,
you.
yeah, right. Yeah. And
Um,
we go. At least I try to go. There's a group that goes every Monday in front of her office to
okay, so
rally.
okay, yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah,
But
yeah.
you see it a lot in the White House or on Capitol Hill, I should say, not White House. White House too. There was a video I saw yesterday. It was one of the ladies I recognized from a lot of these videos. She's just in Capitol Hill to just really get in the face of anybody like who's wanting to send money to Israel and keep that whole thing going. And I don't know her name. I've never caught her name. But she was with a Palestinian lady too. She had the scarf on, so a Muslim. And they were like just trying to get in the ear of the representative from Louisiana, and I don't remember his name. He's like, "Shut up, go away!" Blah, blah, blah. Eventually, he like pushed the
Oh,
the
I
the
saw that. I
Palestinian.
saw
You
that.
saw
Yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah.
Well, I hope they press charges and the guy goes to jail for assault. Code Pink Lady, yes, exactly who that is. Code Pink Lady, 100%. Is it Ariel? If you know her actual name, would you mind posting it? And Madeline R. Hoffman is saying Mikey Sherrill was one of a few national security candidates for the House in New Jersey in around 2018. National security candidates, and the lady's name is Medea Benjamin. And as
From
a
Cold Pink. Yeah, that's
yeah.
yeah, that's fine. Nana. Yeah, that's her name.
Okay, thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
I've seen her dozens of times. I don't think I've ever heard her name. Maybe I have.
Yeah.
So Mikey Sherry was one of a few national security candidates. National security candidates. So what does that mean?
um, that's what she's That's the committee what she's in,
Oh,
right?
it's a committee. Okay,
Yeah,
got
yeah,
National Security Committee. So she's in there. Yeah, okay. So there's been talk before, and I don't think it's getting a lot of airtime, but of like really that it's not a great idea to have former military either as police officers or in politics because they come with this just agenda of like aggressiveness and like and pro-war. Not all of them actually. Some of them are very anti-war because of their time spent in. Uh,
right.
no, I'm not advocating for either side. I don't know. It reminds me of like. I know there was like there's a statistic about like veterans, military veterans as police officers, the chance of them using their gun is like 37% higher than if they a cop who wasn't a former military person. That's a significantly large increase. Because their training is, something goes wrong, boom, that's what you do. And
Right.
wartime is not that it should be, but it's very different than like being a cop on the street. Yeah. So, okay. So Ariel is anti-war and a vet, but yes, I know what you mean. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, Madeline Hoffman is saying that Mikey Sherrill was put in because she was a Democrat and pro-war, right?
Hmm.
Have any of you heard of Matthew Ho, H-O-H?
If I what?
Heard of a guy named
Yeah,
Matthew?
yeah, yeah,
You know
yeah.
Matthew Ho?
No, I don't know him in person, but I've seen him in video.
You know who he is?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he was a Marine in Afghanistan and like went pretty high up, and he ended up working for the Defense Department for a while and literally resigned because of their stance and their attitude and approach to Afghanistan and how inhumane it was. He's been on this show a couple times. He's a great guy. He's in North Carolina.
North Carolina, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, it's true that they're out there for sure. I've seen a couple other veterans who were in the Capitol, not necessarily as a politician, but they're just like, nope, I'm done. This is crazy. It's just, especially over the Israel Gaza thing. The Israel Gaza thing, it's just so obvious how crazy it is. We're not getting the footage from Ukraine. I don't even. You get like a little bit of some, talk about it here and there. Israel Gaza thing is just. I mean, that's you got to be kidding me. That's
absolutely crazy. I mean, that's
it's evil.
we have to
It's
continue
evil.
until that stops. It's evil. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, how well, it doesn't matter who, any person that is killed that way, like that. When, anyways, killed, point, right? But the kids, I mean,
Exactly. Like, I mean,
how can you do that? Those awful things to the kids. I mean, like terrible. Just yeah,
yeah.
It's unbearable.
It is unbearable. Like I'm
Yeah.
welling up a little bit just thinking about some of the videos
Yeah.
I've seen. It's just,
Yeah.
it's unbelievable to why it's just incredible. It's disgusting. Okay, Madeline R. Hoffman is well aware of him, Matthew Ho, and his campaign for U.S. Senate in North Carolina. He did a lot of good things for Green Party members with his campaign because of all the bureaucratic and legal pushback he got, and he was able to fight through a lot of it. And it really set the precedent for better stuff in the future for Green Party candidates in that area. I had somebody else on, I can't remember who it was, who said that like if it wasn't for Matthew Ho and what he did, the gentleman who I had on, Mike Dublin, said he wouldn't have been able to get on the ballot as easily as he did if it wasn't for Matthew Ho and what he did. So we thank you very much, Matthew Ho, for all you've done. Yeah, I just actually chatted with him the other day. He's doing well. Michael Dublin, right? So, all right, very cool. Okay, so what else?
What else? I can talk to you about the House Bill HR 6090,
Okay.
which is the definition of anti-Semitism, right?
Well, yeah.
And that's a good example of how two parties are the same thing, because that was done by Trump in 2019, right? And then now they just took it out again and are using it. And on that time when Trump did it was because of all the BDS movement in the college campuses, right? And they were tracking students that were talking against Israel.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
That's like so like this is what you expect to hear from like 1960s, 70s USSR. Like the government like spying on their people because of what you might say, and now we're doing it.
Yeah,
So,
we are going backwards
mhm. Yeah,
now.
no, like there's all sorts of things that are like, like even like back I remember when I was younger, like how awful we thought it was that, like the KGB or like a Russian cop could just, demand your papers on demand. And if you didn't do it, you got in trouble. Well, that's how it is now. Like a cop can just walk up and say, give me your ID. No,
Right. Yeah.
and like that's actually controversial. And in some states, they're not allowed to do that, but they still do and get away with it. That's a problem. But like stuff like that, I mean, we're becoming what we used to believe was our enemy, and the reasons why we thought that they were our enemy, we're doing that now as well, and it's very
So
difficult.
they're trying to limit, freedom of speech. Now you can
Oh
mention
man,
Palestine, or you can't say anything bad about Israel, and people get fired from work, from schools, from everywhere.
yeah.
Even using a kafia, now you might not be able to use that either. You know,
Yeah, it's like McCarthyism. Guys remember McCarthyism back in the what was it 50s?
right?
When they brought like celebrities to Congress, front of Congress, and asked them if they were a part of the Communist Party, and like it's just craziness. Like, what if I am? What is it? It's none of your business. So
Yeah,
what?
yeah,
It's supposed to be a free country. I don't know that this country's ever actually been free. So
yeah. One thing that uh, for what I decided to join the Green Party is because I was always curious about third parties
Mhm.
and how there were no more parties here. I
Mhm.
was I was always asking about that because I'm coming from Colombia, and even with conflicts and everything, we have a bunch of parties,
Right.
right? And
Yeah.
most countries do. So
Yeah.
why we don't have that?
No, I agree. No, so the Green Party actually exists in 72 countries across the planet, which is pretty cool too. Is that it's a global political movement. It's not merely American Party, and in I think that's safe to say, most of those other 71 countries, the Green Party is taken a lot more seriously than it is in America.
Right,
Definitely in Canada and in England and Europe, huge. They have formidable political power, actually. But that's what we're here to do. We're here to build a party, which is a very exciting too, because a grassroots effort. There's something. It's very adventurous and very exciting to be a part of something so admirable and right. I think, and not in the political right left, just correct and the more moral way to be towards the environment and politics and other people, socio-political, economic positions and stuff like that. At some point, we just got to say, hey, I'm sorry, we have the better ideas. We do. Okay. Okay.
well, I feel like we had to do it
Yeah.
because well, I always think about the kids, and
The kids.
I see my grandkids, and I'm thinking I feel bad for them. I feel sad about that because
I think about the world we're leaving them, and I like my friends have had children in the last, like, say, 3 or 4 years, and of course I'm very happy for them. But I
yeah,
always like have in my mind, I'm like, oh man, what's it gonna be like when this kid's like 40?
yeah,
I'm like, I don't know. I've had a lot of people on the show, obviously, about concerning climate change. I'm like world-renowned scientists and stuff, and I'm like, oh man, it is not looking good.
that's another issue, right?
Let's talk about the environment. Since this is the Green Party show,
Oh,
what are you doing with that?
yeah. Well, we have to stop with the oil. Using the oil and drilling and taking the water uh, from places. Drying them up.
So we just keep hauling water from like other parts of the country, like in tankers and stuff, like
Yeah,
semis, to bring to places because they're like out of water.
yeah,
The
yeah.
Southwest, Southern California, they're running out of water. So like that is no way to run a society or like a city or a village or whatever, a populated area. You shouldn't be living in the desert. Okay, that's
Right,
not a
right,
good
right.
idea. Evolutionarily speaking, that's a really bad idea. All right, go ahead. So.
Did you ever see Mad Max?
Oh yeah, there you go. You want to live like Mad Max? Stay in Phoenix, Arizona. Go ahead, because you got about 15 years till
Yeah.
it till it turns into Mad Max.
Yeah. So
Um,
part of the situation with the climate change is that that's one of the causes of migration.
Oh, 100%. Oh, and that's
Yeah,
already happening. We have, I couldn't name you specific places right off the top of my head, but I have come across information concerning that very thing. Like, again, water's drying up, whether the heat's just increasing too much where people have to
right.
leave.
Yeah,
And so you're going to see a massive movement of migration because if for no other besides war and politics and economics, because of like just the climate is just becoming disastrously awful.
yeah.
Um, Obviously you can't stand there when it's becoming 120 degrees per day. 116 degrees in Portland, Oregon last year. Come on.
That's
You know,
terrible. I was in Colombia back in February, and my hometown is hot. It's always hot. It's
mhm,
been
mhm.
like
Yeah, it's Columbia.
summery. Yeah, and it is. I mean, unbearable. It's terrible. I never felt anything like that. I mean, like it's so hot. It's terribly hot.
It is hot, and like there's really little question anymore about like what the causes are of this increase. I mean, they can chart. Scientists know what they're doing, folks. So like so always like defer to scientists and your positions about scientific things. Okay, I mean you're allowed to agree or disagree. You're free to do that, but it's really kind of irresponsible of you to like say I think a scientist is wrong when you know nothing about science. But they have the graphs and like so like before the industrial revolution, like you had the temperature kind of going like this, and all of a sudden it went
Yeah,
like I mean you could see the causal change right there. I mean it's kind of and like carbon dioxide molecules do retain heat. We know that. That's why the temperature, and that's only one of the greenhouse gases. Methane, water vapor. Did you know that water vapor was a greenhouse gas? And water molecules retain heat too. That's a huge problem. So like when you get like things coming off of like whatever, like steam in the air from like the manufacturers and warehouses and
yeah,
factories,
yeah, yeah.
that's all water molecules, folks.
Plastics.
Plastic, and
Yeah,
that's everywhere. And that ties into the fossil fuel things because plastics, at least most of them, plastic items, including your pen and the ink in your pen, have petroleum in them.
yeah,
That's the issue. Is like we're so stuck on petroleum. Like if we got rid of it, like tomorrow, the world would probably collapse.
yeah. There's basically everything has plastic and it's coming from petroleum. Yeah,
Yeah, no,
everything.
it's disgusting. Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
yeah,
absolutely thoughtless when they got into because they knew that there was talk of like problems with like pollution and stuff like that in the Industrial Revolution, like in the 1700s. Like people knew something wrong was going on. And like, they're looking at these smokestacks and like, that's not a good idea. So and like there's what because about the cause of all this disaster, profit, they get to make a lot of money, so they don't care. Poisoning our waterways, our air, our soil. Oh,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
So anyway, sorry, go on. I go on rants when it comes to
It's
so,
okay.
anything directly like relatable to your district and in the environment.
Wait, I'm sorry. Oh, okay.
Okay.
um,
Like I know New Jersey is known as, and even John Serrano said a couple weeks ago. John? I'm assuming you know John.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that it's just kind of like there's some serious pollution going on there. It's like there's New Jersey has a very bad reputation because of pollution, and I'm sure you're aware, right?
There's an incinerator in Newark,
Oh, and it's incinerator.
right?
That's lovely.
And they've been trying for years to close that. So
Okay.
it's as usually is in an area that is low income families.
Oh, there's that the racial aspects or the class, the economic class aspects
Yeah,
of it. The undesirables to the top 1%. They always seem to build it in those areas, huh? Like, why don't you put like an incinerator or like an ethylene oxide plant like somewhere like in the Hamptons,
yeah,
and
right.
see how that goes.
Yeah, and then there was an issue a while ago, and I think they're still um, doing something about that. There was a big contamination in a town by a factory that was there, and then recently there were cases of cancer for a bunch of people there. A lot of people there. Um, so many things going on. So many things. Yeah, Madeline knows
Are you reading
better
her
than
thing right
that.
now?
So many super fun
Yeah.
sites in New Jersey, the most in the country once upon a time, if not still today. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean New Jersey was, kind of like a dumping ground for a lot of places. There's other places too. I mean, there's places in Indiana and even Illinois. Zion, Illinois had like the nuclear plant that went bad in the 80s and got shut down. And which of course, because it's tied into economics, like the whole town is just like almost completely collapsed. Because they got so many jobs were taken away and so on. It's an unfortunate like kind of intermingling of things that if you do one thing over here, you've really affected everything else over here.
Right.
Even though the one thing you're doing over here, like shutting down a nuclear plant, is the right thing to do, it's going to have a lot of negative implications, and that's
Ah,
why people become afraid of like the environmental, excuse me, rules and regulations. They think they're too draconian, they're too much, they're too overwhelming. Jobs are getting lost, blah blah blah, and that none of that is not true. As much as like, well, we have to do something. I mean, I'm sorry, like you see all the farmers in Europe, like just driving tractors in the middle of like a French town or something, like taking down barriers and like buildings and stuff because the farmers are upset that because the EU environmental laws are very tough and rigid. And they want like a decrease in fertilizer by 50% with like in a year. And the farmer's like, we can't do that. We will go broke. And I
yeah.
can't blame the farmers for being like that. What is awful is that we're stuck in this situation where you have to reduce the fertilizer by at least 50%.
That's terrible. I can't believe that we're still selling what's glyphosate.
Glyphosate, Roundup. Oh man.
Roundup here on Home Depot. You
At
know,
Home Depot, like in Monsanto,
it is prohibited in many countries in Europe, and we
it's
still,
banned in countries.
yeah,
The stuff is awful. And Monsanto, which is, if you think of like
yeah, I know,
an
I know,
evil corporation, like in
right,
real
yeah,
real life, not in the movies,
yeah,
but like Monsanto is like the poster child of that.
yes, yeah,
And they're so disgusting. I did
yeah,
a couple of papers in college about Monsanto.
yeah. It's terrible. It's awful.
It is awful,
They
and
own everything. They
they
own
do. They
everything.
own seeds. How do you
Yeah,
own seeds? That's the
and
dumbest
they
thing.
have they have
You
gone
own
to
life.
our countries to try to control the seeds.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah,
No, there's been like suicide rates in India amongst Indian farmers in India, like into the 200 plus thousand because because their farms, which have been in their families for generations, are being destroyed because of Monsanto. So like their lifestyle, their identity, their dignity is gone. And it's just unbelievable. Just disgusting to watch. I hate Monsanto. I hate them. But they
yeah,
are
me
they are
too.
getting sued. They are getting sued a lot,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
100,000 lawsuits or something, and they're
yeah,
losing some.
yeah.
Lymphoma cancer,
Right,
something.
yeah. The
Yeah.
first guy that sued them. Yeah, yeah.
All right. So what else we got? Was that place you were mentioning, Lily, in New Jersey City?
No, in Jersey City. No, that
Mhm.
was what I mentioned about the cancer. That was in Woodbridge.
Okay. I
Yeah,
don't know what that means, but okay. You can't.
She says you can't really go anywhere in New Jersey without bumping into a car on the roadside. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
that's too
Yeah.
bad. That's too bad. It's
Yeah, like every year on the summer, they close some beaches because they're contaminated and lakes. That I used to go with my kids when they were little and they were so nice and clean. You can't go anymore. You don't want to go to those places. No. Yeah.
I mean that like it's not just sad. It like actually it makes me angry. Like that we're just that people like think that they can do that to nature as if somehow it belongs to them and nobody else.
Yeah.
Um, it's just like the audacity and the arrogance and like it's so disgusting. And it's all about money. It's all about money.
Yes.
There are many locations in Woodridge. So the toxic waste sites in Woodridge. Okay. Yeah. Oh, well, that's too bad. I only got about 6-7 minutes left here. Five. Oh no, what time is it? I can't even see. 40. About 8 minutes. What else? What other platform positions is you on? You can. There's no shortage of things that are wrong with the world.
Foreign policies.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. That's what have messed up all our countries in Latin America, as we know. The one of the examples I can give you, I was on a delegation to Mexico. So when I was a state rep in New Hampshire, we went to the border. So when Clinton did the NAFTA agreement with Mexico, right?
Well, that was a great one.
He knew how bad it was. They started, building the wall. They knew Mexico was going down, you know.
Really,
Um, yeah,
they're
they have
including.
they have like thousand more Walmarts there than here.
Wow.
They have Walmarts everywhere, and we went to a maquiladora, a factory, and there was no way that people can live with that money. We were, we went to a supermarket after to see how much we could buy with that, with what they get, because you know how companies left United States to go to other places where they don't have environmental resolutions, like laws, right? Not like
Right.
here, and
Yeah.
and and they can pay whatever they want to them, right? So that's what they
Yeah.
did to many,
Well,
not just here, but other countries,
yeah.
out of America. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Madeline R. Hoffman is also saying New Jersey is the most densely populated state in the country, so it has a really bad impact on people. Yeah, no, you gotta have some room. It's one of the again the beauties of nature is like there's a lot of freedom in nature. That you don't find in like your typical like big city or very populated
And
area.
yeah. So going back to foreign affairs, right?
Yep.
And how United States have always intervened in our countries, and
Mm.
take the presidents that were chosen by popular vote and put
Hmm.
whoever they wanted
Right.
there,
Oh
and
yeah, coups supported by the CIA and so absolutely that's happened.
right, and then the war on drugs, and,
Yeah,
and
that's another good
Colombia was very affected by that,
one. Hmm.
and that caused a major internal displacement.
Hmm.
It was the second in the world. The country was the second in the world with more displacement,
Wow.
internal displacement. Yeah, and um,
Because of the war, like the CIA and the cartels and all that stuff.
yeah, and I'll tell you something. No, many people maybe don't say it out loud, but this is how it works. Uh, that was when Uribe was president, which is have always been favored by United States. He's a right wing president, and who got re-elected when he changed the constitution for that, and he basically was or is, I don't know, he's the manager of the drug cartel
Oh,
for United States.
oh, I didn't
He
know
is.
that.
He is, and guess who controls that? The DEA.
Yeah.
That's what they do, and they're there. They're in Colombia. Yeah, yeah.
So
So
before going into World War II, America has something like 14 military bases across the globe. Within like 10 years after World War II, we had like 100 and something. Now we have close to 1,000. And then
we
just,
we had some in Colombia. We had some during the time of Uribe. I think we still have some more. Maybe Madeline knows.
yeah,
But
we just like put our footprint everywhere and like, because we want to control everybody's lives. And it's just despicable to see it. Yeah, no, CIA, because there's plenty of literature out there on, and actual good, solid study, research, and investigation on like what the CIA and the DEA and AFT and all those creepy organizations have done over the decades. Iran. The problem with Iran started in the 50s when we overthrew their democratically elected, whatever he was, prime minister or president, whatever, because we wanted their oil. Like that is
okay, so
exactly what it was.
yeah, so there's still seven. Yeah, so they're still there. Yeah,
It's
seven
disgusting.
military
It's
bases in
disgusting.
Colombia. Yeah, yeah.
Madeline says there are 7 military bases in Colombia with an eighth proposed. Oh, they're expanding. Oh, that's fabulous.
Mm.
Um, I've never been to Colombia. I don't think I've been to South America. I don't think so. But I hear really wonderful things about it. Colombia is supposed to be a really beautiful country.
It's beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah,
That's pretty cool. Well, I'm sorry that my ancestors are stupid, but hopefully Petro won't permit it. Petro, who's Petro?
yeah. The president.
Oh, that is the president. Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
gotcha.
yeah.
All right.
He's He's from the left, and they hate him. Oh my God, they hate him. They're making his life so miserable. Yeah,
So
yeah.
disgusting. It's like watching children fight on a playground. You know, it really is. Like it's just so dumb. Like like you really can't mind your own business and just go about your way. Anyway, so you got to pick on like the weaker people. You only got a couple minutes left here. You got one more issue you want to talk about?
Oof. I don't know.
Okay. What about, I mean, guys? I know with the Green Party tends to tackle like the bigger issues, like political, socio-political, economic, bigger issues. Um, I've heard a couple say things about inflation, like how they would go about reducing inflation. I had one guy on, and I didn't like his theory. I didn't think it was applicable. Do you or any of the GP13 get money out of politics? That's a good one, Madeline. Have anything to say about inflation? And if not, that's fine. Because, like I said, I don't think GP candidates usually focus on something like that.
Yeah,
Not
I
much.
don't have much knowledge about that.
Yeah, I mean, there's
I
a
know
thousand different, like theories on like how to deal with it and stuff like that. Palestine. Let's talk about Palestine and Israel.
Palestine.
Go ahead.
Yeah, of course. Well, we try to help them out with rallies and events and stuff, right? I Well, that's as we said before. It's just awful. Israel needs to be charged for what they are doing. They have to be charged. It has
Yep.
to happen because uh, they are not gonna stop. They are going after them, and then after who knows who. You know, this guy he even threatened United States if they take them to court. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so so if Biden thought that was his friend, yeah, he can
Yeah, we'll
wait.
see what happens, like with the whole Rafah thing and Biden threatening to cut off, like sending munitions over there if they go into Rafah. And I don't know. Netanyahu keeps saying he's going to do it. The UN just voted to give Palestine stateship, and America voted against it, of course. Which is, even though we keep saying we want a two-state solution, they keep saying no. I don't know. This is craziness. So
Well, at this point, it's difficult to think on a viable solution. I don't know. I mean, like this is
yeah,
it's just not feasible. I don't.
it is difficult because it's like neither side will budge. Like the IDF Netanyahu won't stop bombing and killing till the hostages are released, but Hamas won't release the hostages until Netanyahu stops doing all that stuff. So, okay, somebody has to make the first move, okay, in order for it to stop. Lock them up, the current United States leaders. Oh, I agree with that. So 100%, I love that
Yeah,
idea.
I mean, I understand the whole feeling about Hamas, but they don't have the power of
No,
the
they don't.
army or the military
Right.
equipment that Israel has. They don't have
No,
money.
not even close.
Yeah.
You haven't heard about any fighting back from Hamas since Israel invaded. You haven't heard about it. They did this thing on the October 7th, which was awful. I get it. That's a deeper conversation. But
Yeah, because that's not just last year. That's been going on for
since
75
1947,
years. Yeah,
the
yeah,
illegal occupation of
yeah, yeah.
the Palestinian area.
And it's terrible how they act here. They think that they own the war. I guess they think that they own United States. It's terrible. It's awful when we go to rallies and we see them. What they are doing. They have one thing that impressed me is that they have these huge flags that half is United States and the other half is Israel flag
Yeah,
together. Like
that's gross.
well, we can even raise another flag in here
Right,
without getting in trouble. You
right.
know, yeah.
And
So
it said Biden just okayed more money to Israel. He's not holding anything back. True. And Sip Sauce is asking what your socials are, Lily. I don't know what that means.
the social media for
Oh,
me.
yeah.
That's
Okay.
what
Yeah. Well,
he's
social
saying.
media. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's see if I remember all that. Oh my God. Okay. Facebook is Lily Benavides, number 4, Congress. in Instagram. It's the same, right? Um, Ariel can help me there. Okay, on Twitter, on X is Lily number 4 Congress, and in Instagram, oh yeah, Lily is for Congress. What else? TikTok. TikTok is Lily number 4 Congress too. Yeah.
Lily for Congress, and there was another one that wasn't that way.
That's Twitter and TikTok. I don't have much on TikTok yet, but yeah.
Okay, so Lily Benavides for Congress is Facebook,
Facebook and Instagram.
Instagram, and then the other ones are Lily for
Number 4.
Congress. Just get rid of Benavides. You can figure that out.
Yeah.
So, all right, great. Well, we're actually a little over an hour. That's good. That's a good sign. You got a lot of viewers here, which is good. It means you have a community of people supporting you, and that's
Yeah.
awesome. You know, I'm really excited about this.
Yeah, me too.
GP13. And Madeline saying better use TikTok before it's gone. Oh, that's another thing.
That's another thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
So okay. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being on the show, Lily Benavides. Vides. Does that mean good life?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. I love that. That's neat. For Congress, check her out. Go on Google and just type in her name, and like everything will come up if you just. I did it today a bunch of times. Just type in her name, and everything came up. You'll find it. Google is good that way. So thank you for all for attending and watching
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being on the show, Lily. And let's maybe get you back on before the election day and see how everything's going with your
Yeah.
campaign. That's great. Green 13. All right. Thank you, Ariel, for getting all this going. Appreciate it always. Everybody, again, thanks for tuning in to the Illinois Green Party series. I'm your host, David Rich. Till next time, be good, be green.
Thank you.
All right.